Alright, so hi, I'm Lily. I'm going to be playing Atelier Ryza today. I'll just be starting a new game, and I will be doing any percent on Legendary difficulty, so. There's like 7 difficulties in this game. Legendary is the highest. And the main, basically Legendary difficulty just like vastly increases the stats on every enemy, so the most important thing, enemies have like 10 times more health and are much faster and will just one-shot you, so it's pretty difficult. I don't know if I should wait for sound before I start or if we're good to go. Inverted camera is very important. The game is unplayable without it. Audio is good. Just let me know when we're ready to start. Witcher, hi. But yeah, Atelier games are super fun. I love them. They're very cute and wholesome. And also, like, the mechanics are very interesting. The games are pretty unique if you don't know what Atelier is. Are we ready to start? Alright. Okay, so yeah. Start time in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And so this game features full cutscene skip, which is pretty nice. No text matching for the most part, like a lot of RPGs. So I'm just going to start out. We have about like 10 minutes of tutorial at the start of the game. Just sort of running around town, meeting everyone, learning mechanics and stuff. Yeah, this is Ryza. She is a daughter of a farmer. And the start of the game is kind of like Ryza doesn't like farming. She doesn't want to do chores. Farming is chores. And she's basically in her rebellious phase, which is like fine. She's a teenager. And what she really wants to do is her entire town is on an island and she wants to go visit the mainland, which is kind of like forbidden for the most part, especially to kids. And so that's where we are now. We just took a boat and snuck off to the mainland and we're just gonna go explore a forest. And believe it or not, the forest is kind of dangerous. There's enemies here. Might just be little slimes, but they're monsters, they count. So I'm just gonna get a little battle tutorial here. You can just kind of teach us the basics. You know, how to auto attack, how to use skills. Not items yet though, we don't have any items. And thankfully, the tutorial enemies do not scale with difficulty, so This Puni will be dispatched very quickly. And we go deeper because we are fearless. And so, coming up on the right, there's actually a chest with money in it that we have to grab here. If you don't grab it here, you can't grab it until much later, because normally there are rocks in front of this chest that you have to break. But during the tutorial section, all gatherable, indestructible items are despawned so that you can't gather anything. So the rocks aren't there either, and you can just grab the chest. And that's important because money is very valuable. The shops in this game are very strong, and I will be purchasing many items from them, so very good. And another like sort of quirk with the destructible rocks not appearing during the tutorial is that up here there's a cutscene trigger. And if we could actually get past this cutscene trigger, there would be a bit of a sequence break in this area. You'd be able to get to a mid-game zone. But it's not really possible, at least as far as we've found, so. And so here's the second tutorial battle. This one just sort of leaves us to fight for ourselves. I'm just going to want to use this skill here, and if I high roll, the pixie will die very quickly. Or not. Narnoon, does this game have random encounters? This game does not have random encounters. Alright, I got pretty owned on this fight. My damage rolls were very low, so it took a while. And so with that fight, we have saved the daughter of a merchant. I kind of skipped over that part, but yeah, she is getting attacked by that forest pixie and we just saved her. Her name is Claudia and she is adorable. She is also very, very powerful. She has the best skill in the game and becomes our best friend later. So look forward to meeting Claudia in about 40 minutes. And yet another tutorial battle, except this time we don't really escape. And we're dead. Game over. But not really. Two people, Empel and Lila, happened to be walking by and we skipped the cutscene, but they saved our young adventuring party from that scary weasel monster, so. Now we're just heading back home and the adults are going to be pissed. Gonna go back home, do chores, and then learn alchemy. So we'll just have cutscenes for a couple minutes here. I guess I could give a quick, like, history lesson on this series. Atelier Ryza is actually the 21st game in this series. The Atelier series is very long running, sort of like a niche JRPG series, but they've been around for a really long time. But Ryza is a standalone game. Generally they release in like trilogy format, and Ryza is the first game in its trilogy, so. If you've played the Manichemia games on PS2, those are Atelier games as well. And Ryza is one of the more recent entries that came out in 2019, so. And coming up here, I'm entering Ryza's house. This will be our base for the first, like, 40 minutes or so. but not too long. Eventually, Ryza kind of like runs away from home. Alright, and I'm coming up on the end of the tutorial here. It's about like a minute out, but basically the end. We're gonna go meet those two people that saved us in the forest. And luckily, or coincidentally, one of them knows alchemy. And this is how our heroine learns how to use a cauldron, basically. And alchemy is like the core mechanic of these games. Crafting items. You'll be doing that a lot throughout the run. Of course, first to make items, we need materials. So we've been tasked to just go grab some real quick. Gonna get some grass up here. And yeah, here's Empel. He's just gonna show us how to throw grass into the crafting menu, which looks fairly complex at first glance. All of these circles are nodes where you can put materials into, and filling them out gets you effects on the item you're making. And you generally want to match the colors to get the effects, so. And he'll have us do one ourselves. Alright, and that'll be the end of the tutorial section, so now the game actually opens up. And our first task after the tutorial is going to actually be going back to the mainland. So we're going to sneak back to the mainland, and we have to do a few battles there. But on Legendary, those battles are very hard, so instead of going there right away, we are going to start preparing. Wait, sorry, I mixed it up. We have to make a couple items first and then do that. But regardless, going back to the mainland and doing some battles. So before then, just going to pick up a few things from shops. Alright, and so that shop isn't RNG. The stock we need is always there. But the shops coming up here do have random stock. It's not completely random. It's like, for most things, it's like a 50% chance or so, and we don't need everything. There's backups for everything in these shops, but getting stuff here early does save a lot of time later. So the most important thing is from this guy. It is a blue puny ball, and I did get it. It's very nice. If you have to, there's no backup for that, you just have to check that shop again, so it's very nice that I got it first try. But that is the only one that there's no backup. Alright, that's pretty good. And now I just have to start crafting items. The first thing I'm going to craft is the most basic bomb in the game. And we'll need these to deal damage early on, so. And I'll make 3 of them, because we have 3 party members. So I'll want to equip one of these to each of them. And there's just a few more things I need to make. One is this for story. And then a few other items for XP, because right here I need to get to alchemy level 6. And once I'm level 6, I can make another type of bomb, a bomb that does fire damage. And I won't be able to equip it just yet, but I will after one battle, so. And that'll do way more damage than the explosive uni I just made. And then on top of that, all the items I'm making for XP to get to level 6 are used throughout the rest of the run, so none of this is like wasted time. And right now, with these items I'm making, I'm not really putting anything special into them to make them good. They just need to exist. So there will be more like intricate crafts later on in the run, where you put in a lot more items to get a lot more effects on them and basically make them better. This menuing looks kind of complicated. The menuing in this game is intense. It's very difficult to do it optimally. Especially because your materials won't be consistent 100% of the time. Alright, now heading off to do our first little task, which will be fighting enemies at the mainland. I need to do 3 battles. And on legendary difficulty, they are not trivial, because I don't have access to very much right now. Just those basic bombs that I made, no gear or anything. And also do a little bit of gathering while I'm on the way here, because there are a few items I need for later, like these eroded stones. That's very good RNG. I only needed 3 of them, and I got 3 of them very quickly, so. Sometimes it can take like 5 to 6 gathers to get all 3 of them. Alright, 1 enemy, that's good. If it was 2 enemies, I would have had to run away. Because I can only fight 1 at a time. And so basically I'll just be throwing items. Right now, the important number, on the bottom right side of the screen, you'll see this number of core charges. And core charges are basically what I need to use items. So you can see they're at 0 right now. It means I need to basically convert an item, which means I can't use it for the rest of the battle, but I get my core charges back. So I went back up to 10, and each one I throw takes 2. Alright, and this enemy has been taken care of. And I'm just gonna head back to base because I need to equip my new bomb now that I have leveled up enough. And I'll just head back, do 2 more battles. Chronic Duster, do you have a written or guide on YouTube for this speedrun? I don't have a guide, but I do have notes. There is a notes document. Sounds like items the RPG so far. Items are very, very important. I will be throwing items basically for just constantly, for everything. Trying to avoid making gear. Okay, 2 enemies, so I need to run. Good. Escaped first try. There we go. And you'll see that this fight will be much quicker with the new bomb. I do have to wait for Ryza's turn every time I want to throw one. You can see the timeline on the left side to see whose turn is coming up. Are escape fails common? They are, actually. You can fail to run like 4 times in a single battle occasionally. Alright, this is good. And if you fail to run that many times, your characters can die, which is really bad. In fact, Ryza almost died there. She's getting sniped. Ryza is the one that's throwing my better bombs, so if she happened to die, I would lose. But this is the last battle I need, so we are good. Alright, now to head back to our teacher and tell them we succeeded. Because of course we did. We're pros. We're good at this whole adventuring thing, right? How important is turn order? Do you want certain characters to have a higher speed stat than others? So turn order doesn't matter that much. Outside of later in the game, you need all of your characters to move before the enemy. Because the main way we survive in this game is by stun locking. And if you can't get a stun off unless you have everyone fast. So speed is the most important stat. It's the only stat we put on gear. But it's only for the first turn. After the first turn, turn order doesn't really matter. Alright, so what I've just done here is I've made a gathering tool, a scythe. So with the scythe I can now gather new items that I wasn't able to before. And this is basically Ryza's dad asked her to come help out on the farm, find the scythe. She couldn't find it, so she's like, how do I make one with alchemy? Which, honestly, just look for the scythe you already have, but, you know, it's fine. We made one, we helped out, everything's good. Oh. And now that Ryza's finished her chores, she has a bit of free time, and she's gonna go off. We're gonna go meet the daughter of that merchant. The daughter, Claudia, who we saved earlier. And Claudia's basically like, I want to go adventuring with you. But unfortunately her dad's not a fan of that, especially considering she almost died in the forest if we, you know, hadn't been there to save her. but we'll win him over eventually. The entire, like, there's an arc in the game basically dedicated to winning over Claudia's dad. Ryza's just like, I'm responsible, hand me your daughter. It's very good. Alright, I'll be making another one of those gathering tools. This one is an axe that I need to chop trees, get wood. And another important thing is all of the synthesis I've been doing, everything I've been doing in the game, there's a like day-night system, and I have been manipulating the clock. The synthesis is, all of the crafting is planned out. It all takes time, like in-game time, and it's basically set up to avoid cutscenes. So get here at nighttime, and you can avoid some really nasty cutscenes that teleport you. Alright, more exploring in the forest. I'm just gonna go ahead and smack this tree right here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of enemies in there. Usually I just run straight through that circle. I forgot to gather beehives. What am I doing? Okay, let's go back and get my beehives. I need those. This will be a bit of time loss. Alright. I'm just gonna sleep here to trigger a cutscene and also manipulate my clock some more to avoid more cutscenes. And right here I'm gonna go pick up a side quest. Normally side quests would be kind of a waste of time, but you are actually required to finish 3 side quests in this game to progress. There is a story event that wants you to do that, so this will be one of them. It's pretty quick, but not only is it quick, it gives a very good material as a reward. That saves many, many minutes just by being fairly high quality. Oh my god. And now heading back to our teachers, and they're going to give us another task. And this will basically be the first boss of the game. But before that, I need to prepare, so... whoops. Yep. So I'll be crafting for a couple minutes here to make items so that I can actually win that fight. Because it's pretty tough. I do need to stun lock the enemies coming up, because if they get out of stun, then my entire party will be immediately one-shot. Will be a very fun time. Alright, so here I've made 2 crafts, which are a fairly weak bomb damage-wise, but they have one of the higher stun damage values in the game. And the way stun works in this game is that every enemy has its HP bar, but then below its HP it also has a stun bar. And the stun bar, once it's depleted, the enemy is stunned. So the base stun damage of an item is actually pretty important. And so the craft there does 225 stun damage base, which is a lot. Most bosses have like 800. The enemies I'm fighting soon have significantly less than that. So. And right here I'm making items, partly for XP. I need to get my alchemy level to 10. But also because I need these materials for later in the game. So just planning ahead, basically. I'm almost done here, just 2 more items I need to make. And I'm gonna make a better bomb. This one will have the medium fire damage effect as opposed to the small one, so it'll do about double the damage to the enemies coming up, and will be my main source of DPS. Alright, that's done. I can go equip everything. New bomb, and my crafts as well. And on my way to this fight, I'll just be gathering a few things. You can get a lot of materials pretty quickly in this game. These games are honestly sometimes kind of like item overload. You can get hundreds of materials in just a couple minutes, but knowing exactly what you need, like a lot of them are just going to be bad. So. But there are gathering nodes just everywhere. All right, very good gathering RNG. This is like the best gathering RNG I've ever seen in this game. Not gonna lie. And here is the first boss. Just this golem thingy. There's 2 of them. Hopefully this fight goes okay. It's pretty straightforward, but if you mess up, you do lose, so. And so the enemies are stunned now, just from getting all those items out. And after they stun, there's basically a second layer of stun called Breakdown, which they're in right now, if you stun them again before they attack to break their stun, so. Should be fine. So I'll just wait for them to come out of this to start throwing items again, so I can stun them. Alright, one of them's down. Curse. And good. Hopefully at some point I can explain the rest of the combat. It's pretty fast paced, so it's hard to talk during it. Very easy to make mistakes. Because just one wrong move and on legendary difficulty, I will die immediately. So it's not like super tight, but you do have to do everything correctly. And yeah, that's the first boss. The next boss will be in like 40 minutes. There's a lot of story and cutscenes between now and the next boss, so. Alright, just turning in a quest item here that I had made in advance. Alright, and here I will be doing the second of the 3 side quests I need to do. This one's very important as well. It gives me a recipe book. So new items to craft. Technically this recipe book isn't required to finish the game, but it's very useful, so. How long do you think the run would be if you couldn't skip cutscenes? Someone actually did a run where they were mashing cutscenes. I don't remember how much time it added, maybe 80 minutes? I want to say somewhere around there, but I don't remember. But yeah, it adds a lot of time. Being able to skip cutscenes is very nice. And this is the first game in the entire series where cutscenes are skippable. Well, okay, that's not completely true, but it's mostly true. There's a little nuance there. I don't know if Lich is here, but if you're paying attention, apparently your mouse cursor is on the screen. Alright, and so what I'm doing right now is I'm basically making materials to go renovate a secret base we found in the forest. Ryza's like, my parents are losers and don't want me to do alchemy, so I'm just gonna run away from home. And so that's what we're doing. And to be fair, Alchemy is pretty cool. Alright, almost done with this. She needs a lot of materials. And I'll go have to turn these in. Alright, I need 4 more beehives. There's 2. More, very nice. Oh wait. I forgot to get these. That's fine. New addition to the route. Gathering those lantern grass. So I'm not quite used to it yet. And we'll just turn in these materials. We're gonna renovate this base, and everything's gonna be good. We got our fancy new house. Do alchemy in. And I must say it looks pretty nice. There's another room that you'll see later as well. It's pretty spacious. And you know, since we have our base here now, the crew just kind of wants to go check out the rest of the forest. Because may as well know what's here, right? Please swing. Alright, that's pretty good. About how much I need. There's another chest here. This is just 300 more coal, which is money. Money is pretty important. Thankfully the game gives enough, so. Hey friend, don't attack me, just passing by. And so yeah, just taking a stroll through the forest, and suddenly there is a very spooky, creepy bug monster, and our party freaks the heck out and runs away. So they're just like, what was that? Because it's something they've ever seen before, and they're just gonna go ask Emple and Lila, our teachers. And they're like, oh my god, you saw one of those? That's not a good thing. Because what it actually is, the enemy that they saw, the monster they saw in the woods, is it's a special type of very dangerous monster from another world, so. Whoops. I skipped my quest. I can do it here. This will be the last side quest I need. Alright, so now's the part of the game where Ryza's just like, hey dude, give me your daughter. Whoops. I went to the wrong place. It's fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and make an item for this guy. His basement's leaking, so Ryza's gonna make an item to fix that, because alchemy can do anything. Alchemy is fantastic. Oh god, my materials here kind of suck. Am I gonna be able to get enough quality? Yeah, we're fine. Wait, I only want to use one of those. What am I doing? There we go. And it went by pretty quickly there, but now I have the world map unlocked since I have built the new base, the secret hideout from the title of the game. And it's very nice. It basically makes just running around everywhere much faster. It's very good fast travel. So before I was going around to those signboards around town, and now I can just enter the map, go wherever I want. And this section of the game is admittedly pretty boring. It's a lot of story stuff. There's not too much crafting. There's a lot of like little tasks that they give. But I've already made most of the items that I need for these tasks, so I end up finishing them very quickly. Alright, and so here, we're at the port. Ryza has been asked by the fishermen in the town. They're just like, hey, our fish aren't biting. Can you make something for us? So Ryza's just gonna make some very delicious fish bait that will get the fish, you know, right up and back at him. And you know, nothing could go wrong with that. The fish have disappeared. Fishing them more. What could go wrong? Overfishing isn't a problem. Sorry if that spoiled that something does in fact go wrong. But regardless, no one in this town thinks ahead. Just gonna make the bait and leave them to their problems, so. And yeah, after this, Claudia's father is just kind of like, alright, fine. You win, you can have my daughter. You're responsible teenagers. She likes you guys anyways. She needs friends. So we basically just kidnap her. After one more little thing, which is he wants us to race against the town guard for some reason. I don't really remember why at this point. It's just kind of silly and forced. But yeah, we're gonna race them on the mainland and, you know, just get to this cabin somewhere down here first. Funny thing about this race, there's not actually any time pressure on it. You can go at your own pace. You could do nothing for 3 hours and it's just scripted, so we're just gonna leisurely make our way down to where we need to go. And I mentioned it during the tutorial, but if there was a way to skip a cutscene trigger in the tutorial, it would be possible to do a sequence break, which wouldn't actually skip any story stuff, but it would let us unlock mid-game areas earlier, which is basically all the areas here, where I'm at right now, which would cut out the entire walking portion of this race, because you could just fast travel to them. It would be pretty nice, actually, but there's no way to do that, as far as I can tell, unless an out of bounds is found in the game, which out of bounds does happen in Atelier games occasionally, but I have not seen proof or evidence of it being possible in Ryza yet, so it is what it is. And even if it is possible, it wouldn't necessarily be possible in that zone. Because yeah, these games in general don't have weird movement tricks to push you through walls. But yeah, race is over. We have acquired Claudia in our party. And it is now time to prepare for the next boss. And this prep takes like 15 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer. It is a lot of gathering and crafting. So I will be doing that for a while. Maybe I'll try and... Oh, whoops. I went to the wrong place. I will sort of try, once I get to the synthesis section, to explain what I'm doing, like what the items I'm making do, but the menuing in this game requires a lot of focus, so we'll see how much I can actually get out, how intelligible or understandable it'll be. But yeah, I'm now free. I am out of cutscene jail. And I can just start gathering. I need to run up to the castle where the boss is, and on the way there I will get a lot of materials. Alright, 3 aqua ore, that's pretty good. Ideally I would like 5 total, but it's a really finicky material. And there's not really any way to guarantee that you get more without losing like 30 seconds, so. If I see it at the shop, I'll buy it, but it's a 1 in 3 chance to spawn from there. So I probably will not get it. And here's one of the best area soundtracks in the game, in my opinion. I think most people like this song quite a bit. This is the volcano theme. Don't ask me what a volcano is doing here or why we're, you know, running up it, but it's in our way. Just gonna gather from these jars and these crates. Good, that's a lot of Kumine poison. Those materials are pretty important. Then I can use the axe for these rocks. I need 4 nectar rocks and 6 lightning ores, so got one of each so far. 2 lightning ore. 4 lightning ore. I still need more nectar rocks though, so I'll be gathering these for a while. I'll hit this rock. Alright, that's all the lightning ore I need at least. 2 more nectar rocks, so I need 1 more. Alright, and now I've made it to the castle. This is where the dragon we're going to fight lives. Did I mention the next boss is a dragon? No, it's a dragon. It lives at this castle. I will not be going up to it yet because it will obliterate me. First thing I need to do, I need to make a hammer to gather some special materials from the castle. So I've made that. And also I need to gather some special materials that my companions just left for me in the hideout. These are rare materials that only spawn once throughout the game in here. There's other ways to get them, but I just went to the wrong area. Of course I did. But those are limited spawns, so those will not spawn again. That's fine. I only needed the amount they gave me anyways. And of course shopping, because shopping is the best way to get materials. I need 2 of these, 2 of these. Okay, I got some aqua ore. I will need to reset these shops, unfortunately. That's a bit of time loss, but that's fine. Do I need anything here? Alright. Sleeping because I need to reset the shop stock. Basically, the item I'm looking for is a 50% chance to spawn at this point in the story. And just sleeping a day will be another chance, so. They're not there. And yeah, unfortunately, every single shop reset you need to do is quite a bit of time loss. Alright, there it is. Buy 9 of those. And I will also just get bitter roots with my remaining money. Did I equip the hammer? I actually don't remember. I did, okay. Alright, back to the castle. Now that I have the hammer, I can get Comet Stone. Which is an item I need for some stuff I'm gonna craft in a bit. Alright, I need also one more nectar rock. And I'm missing a whole ton of cabernet, so I need to remember to gather that as well. Heck. This is pretty bad material RNG here. Okay. Got everything I need there. And just a couple more things to gather here, and I will have everything I need for the upcoming crafting session. Alright, so first things first, gem reduction. Basically you can take items and turn them into a currency called gems, and it's used for a few things in this game. Most importantly, item rebuild, which lets you take an item you've already made and add more items to it. This is good for two reasons. One, it lets you make items better. And making items better is always good. Two, rebuild is actually the fastest way to get experience in this game. And grinding alchemy experience is very important, because the game requires you to get to level 50 to finish, so. Is there a difference in loot using the hammer or axe on the same spot? Yes, actually. The type of tool that you use to gather from a node determines what you get from it, and you can't use all tools on every node, so. Oh, right. That's kind of annoying. Okay. I'm gonna need to go gather some seafood as well in a moment. So what I just made right there, that blue supplement, is a very important item. I used one of the shop materials with a trait on it that adds speed to my characters. So I will be able to use that trait to get speed on my equipment. Which is very important because I need to go first in every fight, otherwise I will lose. I'll just do one shot. And the enemies on this difficulty are incredibly speedy. Now the real question, is there fishing? There is fishing. You can fish. I do not fish in the speedrun. Alright, and so I've just made some Staltium, which is a fairly high level material. And I'm going to rebuild it. This is just for alchemy XP, because I need to get to level 20. And I'm currently level 17, so that gave me an entire level, up to 18. And rebuild the last one to get to level 19. And I'll be making a few more things to get to level 20. And the reason level 20 is important, well, first of all, there's a level requirement for making things to begin with. But also, getting to level 20 lets me add an extra item to every synthesis. So being able to add more items to these loops just lets me make better items overall. And most importantly, it lets me make this Zettel, which is basically paper. I think Zettel's German for paper. I'm not completely sure, but they use a lot of German in these games. And that'll let me get down to this effect 2 node here, which by filling out the circles on that, it gives the Zettel an effect of quantity +1, which means when I use it to make items, when I use it as a material, I get an extra one of that item out of the synthesis, which is pretty nice. Whoops. I put the wrong supplement there. And so what I'm doing here is I'm basically just making some items so that I can get that trait, which gives me extra speed, onto my equipment that I'm going to make in a bit. Zettel's a note. That makes sense. I do not know German. I just know these games use a lot of German. Alright, and here I'm going to make a usable item. This one's very important. It doesn't do any damage, but it's a debuff item. And its debuff is lowering ice resistance. For the fight that's coming up, I will be using ice bombs for all my damage, so lowering ice resistance is very important because each resistance stage that you lower doubles the damage you do. We'll make that, and now I'll start making my attack items. The most important one first is the craft. And the way I'm making this, I'm basically optimizing its stun damage. So the more stun damage I do, the easier it is to stun enemies, obviously. And I'll put 2 of the Zettel I made in here so that I get 3 of them, so I can equip 1 to each character. So there's my item. I made 3. And next I will be making an ice bomb. This will be my main damaging item. So the craft isn't for doing any damage, it's just there so that I can stun the enemy. But it won't be doing damage by itself. Some of these. Oh crap. I forgot. I need to go gather an item for that. I missed one thing. That should be good. I guess I should explain recipe morph as well. As part of the crafting in this game, it has kind of an interesting mechanic where certain items can basically transform into a different item. So I started with the explosive uni. I have transformed it into an ice caltrops, and now I've transformed it again into an ice bomb. And just doing that lets me basically add more items overall to the synth. So there's my ice bomb. I'm also going to make another bomb. Part of the reason I'm doing this, it's not really for damage or anything, but there is a passive side quest system in this game where if you do certain tasks, you can unlock passive skills for your characters. And one of them is making 10 bombs, and that'll let Ryza do more damage. So that's very important to have finished. And without making that random bomb, I would be at 9 bombs made total. So just making that one gets us to that threshold, and we do more damage. And so right now I'm making accessories. These are just equipment. Each character can equip 2 accessories. And I'm just passing them my speed traits, so... And I'm also using items I've made before to make 3 at once, so I don't have to craft them multiple times to equip to everyone. So the first one I made was a pendant, and now I've made the spring. And next I will be making weapons. After I make a few more like throwaway pendants, to finish another character side quest for more damage. Alright, so there's accessories, next is weapons. Normally I wouldn't need to make weapons. Well, I'm not making them for stats, is what I should say. The weapons can't actually get the speed trait on them. It can only transfer to accessories. Traits are very limited in what they can transfer to, generally, so I'm not making the weapons to go faster or anything, but they do need to be made. Oh, did I make that wrong? I totally made that wrong. Because weapons actually determine how many items a character can equip. So, by default, Claudia and Tao can only equip 2 usable items, and making these weapons lets them equip 3. It increases their item slots by 1 each, so very important. Being able to equip more items is good because that's how you restore your core charges, which are the resource you need to build items. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this ice bomb just because I need to finish this effect. That's the medium ice damage effect, which will basically increase its damage by a lot. I can just go ahead and equip everything. I will get my quests first, so I just complete them like this. And Ryza now has passives that let her do more damage. Passive skills. And so equipping those, and then equipping all of these items that I just made. And then I also need to set up my formation, get Lent out of the party, get Claudia in, and I'll go ahead and equip this bug net. And that is everything. It is time for the boss. Hopefully I did everything right. I should have. Everything seems right. One little mistake in that synthesis can set you back many minutes. Usually you would just reset if you made like a critical error in one of those items. Because any small thing could, like, gone wrong in the set could cause you to be completely unable to win the fight, so it's that tight. So yeah, the dragon's just up these stairs. I may be resetting the fight for a bit, because there is RNG on the first turn of the battle, I need every character in my party to take a turn before the boss does, so that I can get a stun off on it. If that is not the case, then I won't be able to stun it and I'll just die. Okay, so everyone went first, Tao went last. And stunned. Alright, good. So, wait, oh my god, what am I doing? I'm silly. Okay, now it's stunned. I like spaced out there. I can do this. This is probably fine. My turn order is a bit messed up because I made a mistake, but I should be okay. Alright, so after this, I will have the sunlock managed. Trying to talk and do this at the same time is so hard. What I'm doing right now is just keeping it stunned long enough to get the tactics level up to 4. So it's at 4 right now. Just got there. And that will allow me to get debuffs up, so I can start doing more damage to it. And you'll see this ice bomb is going to hit it for an absurd amount of damage, hit for 2,000. And the boss has 20,000 HP, so 2,000 is quite a lot. Seven. And so yeah, got all my debuffs up, it is being stun locked, and it is dying. Oh wait. Yeah, this will be fine. Alright, so it's gonna attack here, but it's gonna use a charge attack. Wait, am I gonna die? Did I mess up? No, we're fine. I need to get my debuffs back up. I made a couple mistakes. Bit of a rocky fight here. I'm just gonna take the rest slow because it's almost dead, but my debuffs have worn off at this point. Wait. Oh god. Okay. This is terrible fight. Wait. Crap, what am I supposed to do here? Okay, I died. It's really hard. I'm going to do an attempt without talking very much. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, that was a choke for sure. Alright, hopefully I don't get unlucky on going first again at least. Alright, Got another attempt in at least. It'll be fine. Alright, good. Stunned. Oh, is that gonna make it? Okay, good. Yeah. This fight is like very, it's very tight, very skill-based. So if you lose focus, things can go wrong pretty easily. Thankfully, the time loss isn't like a ton. A few minutes, but the run is still alive. And I got another attempt in really fast. Sometimes you can get unlucky. This should make it. Oh, I was not on Ryza. Silly me. Alright, how's my damage looking? I had some debuffs fall off. That's fine. Ugh. Getting there. Okay, it's dead. That was a really bad fight as well, but I didn't die this time. We're all good. Alright, made it past the dragon. And that's honestly the hardest fight in the game, because it's very early on in the game, so you don't have access to very many like tools to deal with it, and it's just relentless. So the dragon's dead. We're gonna go back, tell everyone that we succeeded. And they're just like, holy crap, you actually fought the dragon. Did everyone just gain 10 levels? Indeed. The XP multiplier for playing on this difficulty is huge. And only mandatory fights are done for the speedrun route, so you end up very low level, so you get a lot of XP for fighting bosses. And just a few cutscenes here. Got a trigger. And so yeah, it turns out Ryza's back at the port talking to the fishermen. Turns out the bait she made before, it worked until the fish ran out. So they're just like, the fish all left again, make us better bait. So we're making better fish bait again so they can get back to their fishing. And this one, you know, definitely nothing will go wrong here, right? Overfishing isn't a problem. Or so they'd like you to believe. Do the bosses scale or are they set? The bosses do not scale with your level. But level is not too important in Atelier games generally, combat level, because the games are balanced around crafting items, so your crafted gear is going to be where all of your stats come from. Level ups actually give very few stats. So they're not too important. Alright, I'm just gonna turn in this bait. And go back the next day and check in and find out basically nothing works. And there's kind of a reason for that, right? Because the fish didn't leave because of overfishing. They actually left because there is a monster in the waters. And we'll find that out shortly. And of course, Ryza's gonna be like, well, we have to fight it. So that was our next battle. I wouldn't consider it a boss. It's easier than the dragon. It has 12,000 hit points as opposed to 20,000, so it is a bit faster though, which can be a problem. Monster attractor. This is just a quest item that I need to turn in. This cutscene here conveniently puts me next to a shop, which I will be going to right now. Then I'll just sell some gear upgrades. It'll give my party more speed to have these, so. And I'm also gonna buy a bunch of materials. These slots are actually random, like what's in them is RNG, but what's in them isn't too important, because I'm just gonna turn them into gems, so. And yeah, someone said a while back, sorry, one second. Yeah, someone said a while back, that fight kind of made me want this game. The combat in this game is super fun. It's very fast-paced and enjoyable, I think. And it definitely really rewards, like, being good at it. And making quick decisions, so. Right, I need to equip the armor. Don't forget to do that. Almost did anyways. Alright, so does everyone go first? Nice. Now hopefully I can just make it in before it gets its attack off. Because sometimes it attacks super fast. Oh, what am I doing? I just died. Probably. Yeah. I wasn't thinking right and messed up my rotation. It wasn't Tao last, that was the problem. It was Claudia last. Okay. Focus. Because your rotation changes based on your starting turn order. So I did the wrong one on accident. At least it was a quick death, so it'll be fine. Alright. And we'll be stunned after this. Yeah, everything's okay. Alright, so I'm getting my debuffs out here now that it is successfully stun locked. The skill Claudia's using right now lowers magic resistance, which my ice bombs deal magic damage, so very useful skill. Because every resistance that I lower doubles the damage I deal. And once I have all my damage debuffs up, I'm effectively doing 8 times damage with my items, and the fight goes pretty quickly, so. In a normal, like, casual playthrough, with an ice bomb, you would probably be doing 200 to 300 damage. And through the use of, like, ailments and a few passive skills and gear and stuff, that damage gets pumped up to, like, 2500. So debuffs are very, very, very powerful in this game. Just for a bit of context on the damage there. Alright, so now that the monster in the lake has been defeated, the fish are back to the town, but we're still busy. While we were doing that, the gang's childhood friend got, like, jealous of all the attention they were getting and how powerful they were, and basically ran off to go prove himself. So he got lost in this cave, and we're gonna go find him. And earlier, this passage up here was blocked off by water, and the water has mysteriously receded since then, so we figure he went through here. We'll just run forward and hope to find him, because his dad really kind of wants him back. So this part's pretty chill. You just sort of run through. One thing that's, like, really nice about this game is it really does have some, like, really beautiful areas. Can't really stop to look around them too much because it's a speedrun, but if you ever get this game, if you've ever played this game, you'll know how, like, fun it is to just run around and look at everything, because the environments are really nice. And this song here for this area is actually one of my favorites on the soundtrack as well. I think it just really, really fits the mood here, because we've gone through the cave and we found, like, these ruins basically that have just been, like, untouched for hundreds of years. There are monsters everywhere, though. There's always monsters. And so yeah, up here, there is a portal. A gate that has been opened. And this is kind of like where the plot of the game starts picking up, because you see these bug enemies. They've actually come through that portal, and they're incredibly dangerous. If left to do whatever they want, and just, like, come through this portal forever, they're powerful enough to destroy the world, which they have done in the past. And this portal actually goes to another world, so We are there now. We've decided to travel through the portal and just check out what's here. This is another world. It is very dead because it has been taken over by these bug enemies. I'll just avoid all of them. And this is where the group basically Ryza, her friends, they find who they're looking for, the childhood friend who ran off, and he has actually met up with one of the locals of this world, so they've been talking, and she's just like, yeah, this world sucks. But she's gonna stay here and keep fighting, and Ryza basically vows that, like, they will come back and help. And so that's kind of sort of what we start doing now. They're going to figure out how to help this world repel the bug enemies and also bring the water back to it. Because the water in this world was actually stolen by humans in Ryza's world hundreds of years ago. Through alchemy, of course, because alchemy is powerful. They literally just came in the world, were like, hey, your water is ours now, and there's no water there anymore. Or not enough, at least, right? So. This is basically where the plot gets serious. Alright. And so now I've unlocked, after coming back, I've unlocked one of the most overpowered mechanics in the game, which is the world generator. Basically an item, I can put in a password or materials. I'm only going to use passwords because the passwords are predetermined, and you can basically just generate a world, or rather, the game has already generated these worlds. They're hard-coded in. Oh crap, I forgot to reduce gems. You need gems to make the worlds, so let's do that real quick. Alright, 14,000 gems. And so yeah, I'm making these worlds. I'm using gems to make them, and I get to go in and gather like 10 billion materials very quickly. Most of this stuff is for progression. A number of these materials I need to do story, and they would be monster drops otherwise. If I couldn't get them in here, I would have to grind them off of enemies, which would be very slow, obviously. Then I also get traits in here. And traits are basically, they're properties that you can add to items you craft to basically improve their power. So what I'm looking for is a set of traits that will double the damage of the items I use, more or less. Is the basic gist of it. And then the third thing I need is this resonance orb. That's for story progression. And I need it at a high enough quality so that I can make the item I need to make at a high quality, otherwise I can't turn it in. And I got 84 there, which is enough, so I don't need to gather more. You can get really unlucky on those orbs. And if they're like consistently like 20 to 40 quality, then you just need to keep gathering them, and it wastes a lot of time. And the final thing I'm getting here is, with everything I'm gathering, I'm getting a lot of bitter roots. And the bitter roots are really important because they're the materials I need to grind alchemy experience. I need to get my alchemy level to 50 to finish the game. Currently it's like 23. So, yeah. Very important to just have a lot of materials to grind that XP with and make that efficient. And thankfully, gathering them is very quick in these worlds, so. This will be the third password I'm inputting. I'm getting Underworld cores this time. Another drop-only material, where if I couldn't get it here, I would have to farm enemies for them, so. Being able to get them here is very convenient. And one more of these. This will be the last one. And this is just for more bitter roots so that I can get more experience, so. Alright, so now I can start making items. First off, I will be making... Well, I will be making a lot of poison cubes, but I'm going to rebuild up to one. And so yeah, these beast venom pouches I'm using for this were one of the materials I gathered in there. Oh, I do not want to use that one. That out of one of the traits I needed, so I will save that. And basically what I'm doing on this poison cube is I am getting a synth quantity +2 effect on it, which means every time I use it in a synthesis, I get +2 to the final quantity of items made. And that'll be very handy because shortly I will get the duplicator, and I can just make a lot of those. To duplicate a lot of items. Alright, there's all my traits. This one is to transfer my traits to, so I can just loop them and get them onto my bomb later. And I'm also going to start rebuilding poison cubes. This is just for XP. Because I need to get to level 29 for this section, so... Heck. Selected the wrong ones. Okay. I am out of gems. Heck. You need gems to rebuild as well, so. That should be enough. Oh no. That's not good. Will that be high enough quality? Good. I needed that to be A rank, which is quality improves the rank of items, so I need that to be a bit higher quality. Alright, with that I'm done with poison cubes for a bit. And basically what I'm doing right now with the synthesis, it's like half XP grinding and half preparing for the next boss, which is coming up fairly shortly. I do need to do a few cutscenes here and there, just to progress the story. Whoops, I meant to go to the door. Alright, good. That'll be the end of story for a bit, and now more synthesis. This is the item I needed the orb for. It needs to be at least 80 quality, so just gotta make sure to use high quality materials here. And I can go turn this in. Alright, and so now I get to make the most overpowered item in the game for this speedrun. I'll just make a couple of these first. Has materials for it. Alright, and so here is the lightning bell. The lightning bell is kind of disgusting. It does a ridiculous amount of stun damage, so it makes it very, very, very easy to stun lock enemies, which is really important because stun gauges start getting bigger. The dragon had 800 stun damage it could take before being stunned, and the final boss has 1200. So crafts just aren't going to cut it anymore, but thankfully the lightning bell can do 600 at once, so it's a very good item. So I'm just going to fill this out, and then on top of that, it does a lot of damage as well. I am out of gems again. How does this keep happening? I usually don't run out of gems during this section like this. Alright, rest. I'm also going to head to the shop and just pick up a couple items to equip to Ryza to increase her damage even more. More damage is never a bad thing. At least I hope it's not. And I will also equip the lightning bells to everyone. I understand almost nothing of what's happening on screen, but it's happening fast and my brain is happy just being like, ooh, pretty colors. Yeah, these games are very, like, mechanically complex. The crafting systems are really deep and rewarding, I think. It's very fun, but it's really hard to, like, explain, like, just exactly what is going on with everything, if you haven't played the game before, so. But I have just finished prepping basically my endgame item. Lightning Bell is just too good. It pretty much makes the rest of the game way easier, just because of how much stun damage it does. So even if you screw up, generally your enemies will never get a chance to attack unless you miss the paralysis debuff. Because the lightning bell applies a debuff called paralysis, which will double the amount of stun damage enemies take, on top of already doing a lot of stun damage. So if you don't get that debuff off, then you're in trouble, but the application rate is pretty high, so it's usually fine. Sometimes you get unlucky, but most of the time it's alright. And so this part coming up here is pretty funny. Playing casually, you're supposed to just be going to this tower, and you're just walking through this area, and suddenly a dragon ambushes you out of nowhere. So it's basically a random boss encounter. It's not random, but it feels random when you're playing. because it just comes out of nowhere. You don't expect this dragon to come up and fight you. Okay, so I am dead. The dragon got its turn very early, and as you see, you cannot survive a hit, so we'll just have to go back and try again. That just happens. Because, like, I have made gear so that my characters have more speed. But the enemies on Legendary are still very fast, so going first is not consistent by any means. But if you go first, you can get your stun lock going. Alright, 2 characters went first. If I hit paralysis, I did not. That again. I guess I can explain. So on the enemy UI, you can see 2 bars, the red bar and the yellow bar. The red is its health, and the yellow is its stun. So yeah, depleting that yellow stun bar is what allows me to stun enemies. It's like, yeah, there's a lot going on in the battle UI. So it can be hard to like see all the information. When I first started this game, the battle UI was very overwhelming because it's so much information and it's like spread out all across the screen. And you just need to pay attention to all of it. But the combat moves so fast. Alright, so maybe this one will work. Nope. Dead. But yeah. Dying isn't usually like, it's not that much time loss, but it's enough where you don't want it to happen. These deaths are out of my control, so running this game is, it's not that RNG heavy, but going first in battle is most of it. It's most of the time loss you're gonna get on a given run. Like if you just end up dying over and over again, like this. If you miss the paralysis, you basically die. Yep. But also, if you don't have all 3 characters going before the enemy, which I did this time, but I haven't hit the paralysis debuff yet, so that's unfortunate. Alright, this time for sure. This is actually kind of unusual. This enemy is not usually the one to give you bad RNG on going first. It's usually the first dragon. I've like run into and died to the first dragon like 12 times before without being able to get turns in, so usually this one is a lot more agreeable, but today it's feeling a little feisty, I guess. Nope, dead. Alright, this time for sure. It can kill me faster, it just has to use the AoE skill, and it doesn't. It's very rude. Very good of me to demonstrate how things can go wrong. Thanks. RNG is just like that sometimes. I think I've probably been dying to this for about 5 minutes now. Alright, this time for sure. I'm feeling good about this attempt. Alright, everyone's first. No debuff. Okay, please, please, please make it. Thank you. Alright, we have a fight. Do I think foes would avenge them? Yeah, he's a softie at heart. Alright, now that I have it stunned, I can get my debuffs up. So Claudia can apply the magic resistance debuff, doubling the damage of all my lightning bells. And here Tao will be able to apply the curse debuff, which doubles magic damage again. So. Whoops. And I'll just be throwing these till it dies, basically. It doesn't stand much of a chance here. On top of stunning the enemy, Lightning Belt also has a bit of knockback on it. And so you can see that on the timeline on the left, that it is pushed very far back. So its turn is never coming up, basically. And dead. Well, that was nothing short of a disaster. Dying to first turn RNG for about 5 minutes, but it's alright. The fight's easy. That fight's almost impossible to screw up once you actually get past the first turn. Unlike the previous 2 fights, which are actually kind of hard, so. And going up here, Ryza stumbles across a piece of ancient technology, just hanging out in this hole. Who knows why? It's incredibly powerful and valuable. It's like super important to the run. It is an item that will duplicate any item that I want. So anything I've crafted before, I can just make extra copies. Which is, you know, very, very useful for saving time. So I'll be making use of that basically after this section. I didn't switch to my axe. Just gonna gather from the slog real quick. There's a few materials I need in this tower.
こに行くの？よーし、行くぞ。
So right now I'm basically approaching the final stretch of the game. The tower we just explored was basically a base from the Old Kingdom. And in their fight against the Felucia, which are the bug enemies that we saw earlier, that was like their last stronghold before they finally got ran over. And the gang learns a lot there. In fact, the main thing that they find out is that the island they're from, Kuken Island, which we're on right now, was actually manufactured by the Old Kingdom. So this is an artificial island, and it's being kept afloat by a giant engine underneath it. And the entrance to that area is right over here, so we're figuring out how to get inside right now. It's right underneath this monument. So just sort of running around to all of these monuments to sort of like figure out what's going on. And there's one here. And Ryza, just like after visiting these, sort of realizes, oh, I can make a key to get inside of them with alchemy, so. After I'm done visiting all of them, I'll go back and make that. The key requires alchemy level 39 to make, and I'm like 30 right now, so. I'll have to do a bit of XP grinding. Oh my god. Before I can make the key. And here I'm just buying out the shop stock so that I can reduce all these items into gems. For some reason I'm lagging a lot here, so the menuing is hard. Because when you, my computer's not very good, and when you lag, when your like FPS drops, you drop a lot of inputs on the menus if you go too fast, so. Alright, just taking all of these items and turning them into gems. 40,000. And let's get my duplicator. And I will be duplicating these prison cubes many times. I'm gonna go ahead and make a bomb rod since I have the materials for that. This is another gathering tool, actually. It blows things up together. It's a very funny item. And I will be rebuilding my poison cubes that I just duplicated for experience, so. These will get me to alchemy level 36 fairly quickly.
何を入れよう。どれにこれさあどうだ。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。少し成長できたみたい。どこにさあ何を入れよう。
Alright, just a few more to go.
さあどうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。どこに入れよう。何を入れるのがいいかな。どれこれさあどうだ。やったできた。少しは成長できたみたい。
And one more.
何を入れるのがいいかな。どれこれさあどうだ。できたバッチリ。
Alright, 36. Now I can make the taboo drop, which is
どうしようかな。
the item I will be using for alchemy grinding for the rest of the game, because it's a lot more efficient than the poison cube.
いいものできそうな予感。さあ何を入れよう。いいものできそうな予感。何を入れるのか。
Because the amount of experience you get
何を入れるのがいいかな。
for rebuilding an item is based on the level required to craft it in the first place.
いいもの
And so the poison cube only requires level 20 to craft,
いいものできそう。さあ
but the taboo drop requires level 36 to make.
何がいいかな。 何かが
So I was getting about, 30 to 35 XP every time I rebuilt a poison cube.
何を入れよ
And for the taboo drop, I'll be getting closer to 70 to 80, so
う。どれが
double the experience.
さあどうだ。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。よーし強化する。どこ何を入れるのか。
So you can see here I use the same materials to put into it,
どれにこれ。さあ
but the XP after is much higher.
バッチリ。
So 62 experience, I basically get an entire level from that.
どこにさあ何を入れよう。どれがこれうまくいくかな。悪くないんじゃないかな。少しは成長できたみたい。どうしようか。さあ何を入れよう。うわいい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいい感じ。何を入れるのがいいかな。いいものできそう。何を入れるのがいいかな。うわいいか。何を入れるのがいいかな。新しいものができちゃいそう。どれがいい。これ
And here I'm just making a quest item.
やったできた。少しは成長できたみたい。
And I can finally make the key since I'm level 39,
いい
so
ものできそう。
I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
いいものできそうな。何を入れる。これでうまくいくかな。じゃーん、こんな感じかな。なんか上達してきた気がする。
And this key is just gonna allow Ryza and her friends to
よし
basically go inside the island that they live on, so. And when we get in there, when Ryza gets in there, she's gonna see that the engine inside, keeping the island afloat, is actually dying. It hasn't been maintained in, hundreds of years. It's like a miracle that it's lasted this long in the first place. And you can see just like how vast the inside of this area is. The ceilings are super high. It's actually very, very impressive. Alright. And here I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to grind the rest of my experience. So actually, I don't have enough gems to do this. I should have reduced some gems. I'll do that real quick.
うがいいかな。
That should be good.
全部消えちゃえ。よーし、できた。よーし、強化するぞ。どこにしさあ、何を入れよう。これさあ、どうだ。悪くないんじゃないかな。なんか上達してきた気がする。
And this is very nice. You basically get an entire alchemy level at once for doing these every single time. And for context, on like just how much experience this is, right? I'm getting 65 per item. If you were just to like make items normally for XP instead of rebuilding, you would get maybe like 20 to 30 per item the first time you make them. And then the experience reduces by half every subsequent time, so. It is just many, many minutes more efficient to do it this way, even though it requires gathering so many materials to do so. And you also can add the materials very quickly without many animations, which those animations definitely add up when you're making new items. Alright, I think just 2 more of these, maybe even 1. Should be fine. Yeah, 1 more after this. Alchemy level 48. Alright, that's more than enough XP. Alright, so Tao has come in. He's like, make me an item to attempt to fix the engine under the island. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm actually gonna throw a bunch of poison cubes into it to make 15 of them at once. There's no reason for this other than Tao needs 3 of them and the rest of them can reduce to a lot of gems. Which is always nice because you need so many gems just for duplication and rebuild and everything in this game. They're a very in-demand currency. Alright, time to head back and just finish up the synthesis for this section. Gem reduction. That should be enough gems for the rest of the game now. So I need to rebuild you. I'm improving my lightning bow. And we'll go ahead and duplicate these. But I actually need to duplicate a lot of them. Is this the first or second game? This is the first Ryza game. And then I also want to make 2 of these. Alright, so what I'm doing now is a weapon buff. So I can put items into it. And basically it adds effects to my weapons. The effects I'm adding they increase lightning damage, and they also give my characters a chance to apply a lightning resistance debuff to enemies, which is super important because the final boss has a lot of HP, and without that debuff, wouldn't be able to actually kill it.
さあ何を入れよう
I need more gems again. I
どれを
barely don't have enough.
これ全部消えちゃえよーしできたどれを強化しようどこにしよう何
So yeah, just having a ton of extra damage for the final boss is very important.
いいかなうわいいか何を入れるのがいいかなどれがいいこれでとうまくいくかな悪くないんじゃないかな
Alright, so my lightning bells are
で
finished.
きた気がする
Let me equip all the new items that I've gotten, including the new lightning bells. You get this, and you get this.
よーし休んじゃおう どこに行こうかな
That growth works similar to Grow Book? No, it's nothing like the Grow Book, if you're talking about Manakemia.
ちょっと厳しいんじゃないこれを使おういくよ当たってとっておきだよ
Alright, so this is just kind of a random, like, trash enemy.
クラウディアお願い
It's not threatening at all. It only has, like, it has as much HP as the boss from over an hour ago.
即興で行くよえい今だライザ一緒に敵をくじったこれでどうだ行くよ
But still takes a while to kill.
私のステージ
Just because you really don't do damage unless you have debuffs on the enemy. And it takes a while to get those debuffs up.
当たれクラウディア任せたよお願いとっておきだよ一気に畳みかけたいだ一緒に行くよクラウディアお願いそれこれでどうだい
And there it goes.
これくらい当然さ
どこに行くのかね
よーし
Alright, equip that lightning bell to Tao. I didn't equip it before because he actually hadn't leveled up enough to be able to use it, but
行くぞ
now he has, so.
ねえどこによーし行くぞ
And so now the group's just kind of like, alright, we're strong, we understand how everything happened. Time to go back to the other world, the underworld,
よーし行くぞ
and just put an end to the Felicia, or at least the ones that are trying to come through the portal. And they're just going around now, like, just telling everyone in town what they're about to do because it's very dangerous. They may not make it back alive. So it's just important to have everything sorted, but they have to do it. They have to save their island.
どこに行くんだよーし行くぞ
Because if they don't stop the Felicia and close the portal,
よーし行くぞ
yeah, they're just gonna come through and sort of like ravage the earth.
どこに行くのかね
So it is unfortunately a bit of a save the world plot. A lot of times Atelier games don't have save the world plots. Ryza kind of does, but it's a bit more localized. Like it's more focused around their island and not the entire world. But that kind of is the side effect of what they do. How did you end up deciding on this game to run? I run a lot of Atelier games, a lot of games in this series because I love this series. And out of all the ones I've played, Ryza is actually my favorite to speedrun. But I've run a lot of them. I've run like 10 of the games in this series before, so it's not just this game. It's just the series in general. 'Alright. And there's only one more fight to go now. The final boss is coming up very shortly. And before I can go there, I just have to go back to base and refresh my items. Wait, I don't do that there. I do it later. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, get to run through the underworld now. Just see how like red and dead it is. It was very unfortunate. And I get to use the bomb rod. One time in the run you have to use the bomb rod. You need to get past these rocks. It's a very fun item though. And so yeah, I'm just running to the final boss here. Unfortunately, timing does not end after the boss dies because there is significant gameplay after. About 9 minutes of stuff. That's pretty important, so. Timing won't end for a little while after the final boss, but this is very close to the end of the run. As soon as I start the final boss, assuming I don't die, there will be about 15 minutes left. Oh my god, did I actually run into that? Whoops. I looked at chat for a second and suddenly I was inside of the beetle. Alright. What could possibly be at the top of this giant staircase? Surely not an enemy. And there it is, the Ravaging Queen. Alright, everyone's going first. I just need to hit my paralysis now. That one missed. That one also missed. That one also missed. Okay, I'm dead. That is unfortunate.
よし、行くぞ。早く戻らない？嫌な気持ちになるんだ。
Usually hitting the paralysis debuff on the first round isn't too bad, but if you do miss it 3 times in a row, you will die immediately, so it happens occasionally. And there is a save point. This flower, well, it's not exactly a save point, but it is a resting point, so. What's the chance to work? It's about 50 to 60% for each one. So with 3 attempts, you usually get it, but it's possible that you don't, so. Yeah. Boss is paralyzed. And 0% if on world record pace, you're absolutely correct. Alright, I'll just get that out. Alright, so I have debuffs up on the boss. I'm just waiting on one debuff, which is... oh, there it is. It's kind of random chance, but what that debuff does, it's a 5% chance for every attack that my party members make to apply lightning vulnerability, which will lower the boss's lightning resistance and basically double the damage my lightning bell does. So if you're unlucky with getting it, this fight can actually be really hard because you can't start doing burst damage until that debuff is up. But it's up right now, so I will start just chucking items at the boss. The speedrun overall strategy for this game is blast cannon? Yes. Alright, I'm gonna need to build some AP. Oh, this might be kind of bad. Why does it have so much HP left? Alright. And so yeah, the boss actually, it's dead, right? It should be. Except, psych. And so this is the hard part of the fight. Basically, for phase 2 here, all of your debuffs have been removed, right? So I need to hope to get paralysis like right away. Alright, there it is. And it's stunned. And now I can reapply my debuffs right off the bat. One of them missed. But that's okay. I'll still be able to keep it stunned, so it can't kill me. If you do miss paralysis 3 times at the start there, you're kind of just out of luck. Oh, did I use that too early? I did. What am I doing? Alright. Here I'm still waiting for my lightning vulnerability debuff. Like I said before, it's a 5% chance for it to trigger on every attack, so sometimes you can just get a bit unlucky and not see it for quite a while. I did just get it right there though, so we are good. And now I can start just chucking items at it. If you're not careful about throwing items, like if you throw them and you don't have debuffs up, it's actually possible to just completely run out of items on this fight. And if you run out of items, then you lose. I'm actually kind of low on items. Taz, stop attacking. I need you. But yeah, my item situation is not looking too good, so if I get unlucky on debuffs, I might actually die. Which would be unfortunate so late in the fight. Did Curse miss? Wait, I need to check this. Oh, Curse missed. That's not good at all. Okay. Got it back. Alright, Tao, stop attacking, I need you. It's at about half HP, and I'm actually pretty low on items right now. Just for safety, I'm gonna check and see if my resistance debuff is still up. It is not. That is really unfortunate. This fight's gonna be very close if I even win. Okay. I lucked out there. Okay. And should be dead here. Or not quite. Alright, I only had 2 item uses left. So I just barely killed it, basically. Because that was a lot of health to go through. It's basically a damage sponge. And if you run out of items, you just can't stun it. You can't do damage. You die immediately, so. But it went fine. Thankfully, I didn't die there. That's the largest time loss in the game. You lose like 6 minutes or something. And yeah, that fight's mostly consistent, but sometimes just missing debuffs can make it feel really bad. And now there's like basically 9 minutes of gameplay before it's over. Ryza has to make items to basically... She's making a new power source for the engine under the island, so... That's the reason you need to grind up all the way to Alchemy level 50. Alright, the power source has been made. And the rest of the game is just sort of doing some housekeeping, you know, talking to everyone, being like, hey, we saved the world. And just finishing up. And of course, coming to the underworld and bringing back their water. Because if you remember from earlier, their water was stolen a few hundred years ago by the Ancient Kingdom. Or a few thousand, I don't actually really know. And they put it all into a, like, infinite void that just spouts the water out. And so that happens to be on their island, and so they just went and gave it back. And then closed the portal, so. All of that's been taken care of. The worlds are now separate again, for now. Yeah, conflict for water. It's a major plot point. Basically that other world where we fought the final boss. Yeah, they literally just took it. There wasn't even a war over it. They just used alchemy, siphoned it all off, and put it into, like, you know, a dimensional pocket. And then just left. Very, very cool of them to do that. Not really. Very, very, very uncool of them to do that, honestly. Alright, and this is basically the end. There's like 3 or so minutes of cutscenes before time, but it's the end of the game. So that's Atelier Ryza, legendary difficulty. If anyone has any questions like about the run or something, feel free to ask right now. I really do recommend this series if you at all like crafting in video games. They're very cute, wholesome JRPGs. Are there any other team compositions viable? Yeah, if you're just playing casually, anything's viable. Most of your power is based on the items you make. Because the game is balanced around crafting. The composition used in the speedrun, Claudia applies a debuff and Tao applies a debuff that both of those debuffs double magic damage, so. And then Ryza just does more damage with items by default because she's the alchemist, so. She gets to do more damage with the things she makes. So it's basically set up for maximum damage with the speedrun set. But you can get more damage casually out of other formations and stuff, and everything is perfectly fine. And also, of course, the game is nowhere near as difficult if you're just on a normal difficulty, so. Thanks for running, it was fun to watch. Can you rate Fee out of 10? I'll give Fee an 8 out of 10. Fee's pretty cute. But mascot characters are also not my favorite thing, so. Why am I still mashing? You can't mash anything here. It's just sort of like idly mashing while waiting for this. But yeah, thank you, High Spirits, and everyone else putting on the event. I had a great time. Should I let the credits roll? I don't know. I'll ask real quick. Alright, so it looks like we're skipping the credits, which is fine. I think we were behind from a run earlier, so. Not time yet. Time is shortly. After this little cutscene, there will be a black screen, and then there will be a prompt asking to save data. So that's when time is, when that prompt shows up. And time. Thanks for the GGs, everyone. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. I guess we're heading into the next run right away. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the run. I love the Atelier games, so Atelier Ryza is a good one. I highly recommend it. And I'm really glad I got to play it for this event.